Hello again, welcome back to the Real Uncle John channel. As I've said before, I'm all about intentional marketing with purpose and the value that that brings to businesses and the people that work in them. My wish is to help others grow their business. We work together, each of us can help the other. My mission, as it were, is to rid the world of bad marketing, so it's rather tongue-in-cheek, but it's a bit of fun and something that I would encourage us all to be part of. In my last video, I talked about intentional marketing and how it brings value to businesses, people and local communities. I talked about how it's important to start with a good understanding of purpose, and I talked about how a clear process wins out every time, and without it campaigns fail. Today I want to ask you a question. How generous are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Do write it below, please, in the comments. I'm really interested to know the answer. But I am here to help you become more generous. Your customers, as you know, don't buy products and services from you. They buy solutions to their problems. Naturally, it's all about them. They want the things that will solve their issues, solve their problems. That's why you offer them what you do. You offer them the solutions to their problems. So I can help you solve more of your customers' problems and reach more prospects. And that's what it's all about. That's really what marketing is all about. If you're interested, I do this because I'm trained in marketing solutions and I focus on digital marketing plans and content. Enough of that. It's all about the preparation. Good marketing relies on preparation. There are 3 points of value I want to share today. The first is that you're not alone. I ran a webinar a few months back and people shared common issues with me, and a number of themes recurred, and the themes are familiar, no doubt, to you as well. They're certainly familiar to me. Lead generation, that's something that people can be better at and want to learn more about. How a small business can get traction with large and build a consultancy in that way. How do I reach my audience more effectively? Reach, of course, is a key consideration. And how ultimately do I know what's right and what's wrong? And these are the things that I think all of us want answers to. And over the course of the coming weeks and months, I'm hoping to address many of those questions and provide some of those answers. I mentioned it in the last video, but a feedback loop is really important. We all need help. We all need guidance. And it reminds me of a facility in aviation. If you're flying a commercial airliner, they have something called PAPI lights, Precision Approach Path Indicator lights. And these lights help them get their angle of attack right and their approach right to land squarely on the runway. If they're too high, then the PAPI lights will indicate, and if they're too low, PAPI lights again will indicate. But most of us don't have that when it comes to marketing, and I think this is a point of real interest and something that one should consider and think about before you embark on a campaign. Getting a feedback loop, being really clear about what makes good and bad decisions before you embark on campaign planning is really, really helpful. And for my mind, good marketership is about good practice. There are some things that you want to get right, and some things that you really can't afford not to get right, and we need to know what they are and how to do them properly. Resource, you need resource to fulfill campaigns. Now, whether you're the resource, and that's fine. Many of us do our own marketing, or whether you're plugging into someone else who can help. But resource is a necessary foundation. And to go back to the aviation analogy, you need a solid takeoff. You need to be organised, you need to plan, you need to optimise. what happens next. And lastly, you need clear goals, you need vision, you need to know where you're going. You need to really consider deeply what it is that you want to achieve and how you're going to achieve it, and think that through. These things are really important. And lastly, the last piece of value for today is to set yourself up to win. Bear in mind that there are some precursors that sadly lead to failure, and those precursors or preconditions are things that we need to avoid. Some years ago, a clever fella called Gordon DuPont, who was working for Transport Canada, wrote a piece about aviation engineering and mechanical engineering, and it was called The Dirty Dozen. And these were the precursors, the preconditions to avoid aircraft incidents and accidents. Clearly, that was higher. The jeopardy was certainly more considerable in that instance. But nevertheless, it's important to avoid the things that these preconditions, to avoid bad marketing campaigns, because you want to deliver a good marketing campaign. So the first precursor is lack of communication. Over 30%, or only 30%, I'm so sorry, of verbal messages are received and understood. When you think about that, let that sink in for a moment. That's really low. It just shows you that actually there's much more chance that what we think we're saying is not being understood clearly by the audience, and you need to make sure that whoever you're working with really knows that. Second precondition is lack of resource. If all the parts aren't available for you to complete the task, then the task isn't going to be completed. And if all the human resource isn't in place, it's not going to happen, because you've got to show up every day. Another precondition is lack of knowledge. Lack of on-the-job and specific knowledge. It's not a crime. It's just a fact. You can't know it all, and sometimes you need to just kind of brush up on some of the techniques and some of the approaches. And fourthly, what he called norms. The way we do things around here, the workplace practices, things that we've developed over time. That's really key. They can be full of holes and mistakes, and actually sometimes it's good to examine those and make sure that you're not just repeating the errors of the past. Anyway, those are the three pieces of value for today. Thanks for watching, and please share and like and comment. I want my videos to bring you the most value that I can, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.